You know I had to come back just because you guys loved the first one. So we're not gonna waste time because we know what it is. Let's just hop into it. I gotta start off with Oberyn from Game of Thrones, Season 4, Trial by Combat. This shit hurt because Tyrion was innocent and his own sister really tried to lie his ass into a public execution because he a dwarf. I know Kai Cenat was sick watching this, and Oberyn was putting in work. Shit, he was a guest to begin with, and the only reason he even pulled up for the hands was because the guy who was fighting was the Mountain, and the same nigga that redo of Healer his sister.
Come on out, you bitch!
Plus it was Pedro Pascal. I was on my seat more nervous than when the teacher is returning tests and she hands yours back face down.
You stupid!
Oberyn was smoking this man. Man had the Mountain crumble to his knees like an avalanche. And then he decided to start talking spicy to the Mountain. And I understand why he did it, because that's just pure emotion right there. But clearly this man Oberyn did not see Infinity War. But you know who did? The Mountain. Because he trips Oberyn, grabs his face like he about to eat a Big Mac, and aims for the head. And if there's anything we can learn from the people on this list and the last one, it's wait until it's over to start talking shit. Zuko flipping sides at Ba Sing Se.
I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you!
The show is goated and the character is goated, but yo, I never wanted to jump into a screen and slap someone as a child more than I wanted to Zuko, because in case you forgot, Season 2 Zuko was going through it. Him and Iroh lost the Fire Nation Royal credit card, so they were broke. And my man was edgier than ever. The man out here screaming at lightning and robbing orphans. Lucky for him though, he had Iroh, who low-key might be up there with Uncle Phil in regards to greatest uncles ever. Iroh got them in a flat, in upper core Ba Sing Se, sipping tea, eating duck, and Zuko is actually coming around. He even let Appa go free. And then Azula came in. And Azula the Zuko is like a goblin mask to Inni Osborn. If they around, you know they finna do something crazy. Think about all the hoes you're missing out on back home, Zuzu. No, Zuko. Think about the D. I know Dad turned you into the Phantom of the Opera, but imagine how happy he'd be if you helped me create even more slaves by colonizing Ba Sing Se.
Stop it. Get some help.
And this is after Katara and him just had the most emotional back and forth of the show so far. Ain't no way Zuko finna flip, right? Right?
Wrong!
Zuko really flipped faster than a Krabby Patty. And he came crazy too. I mean, look at his face. This heathen been performing better than a lack of shame on Adam 22. And as soon as he heard the words hoes, honor, and dad, he turned into 2019 Kawhi. Like, what in the Calvin candy is this? This man really pulled out whips during the colonization of Ba Sing Se? I seen enough.
Right on.
Get out there! That nigga is get out there!
Iroh's face says it all.
That was totally wicked!
If it was, then you better subscribe, motherfucker. So I'm throwing Usopp's apology on here. And this one is such a good moment, and it might be one of the few in this entire series where the character eventually does the one job he had. And before you come rushing to Usopp's defense, Luffy is the captain of the crew. Whatever he says goes, period. And I know how sentimental the ship was to Usopp because Kaya gave it to them, but do you know who would also be almost as hurt by having to get rid of it? Luffy! It's his first ship on his journey to becoming Pirate King, and you know you never forget your first. So without the hindsight of the Mary being alive and coming to save them at Ennie's lobby, had that not happened, this scene looks even worse if you're one of the other Straw Hats. Usopp legitimately disrespected our captain and challenged him to a duel. He was lucky it was Luffy, and he got off with just needing to apologize. Because do you think Kid would let someone like that back in the crew? Or Blackbeard? Usopp might be dead! So when he's watching the ship take off without them saying goodbye, when he sees the true ramifications of his actions, and he finally says everything we, including Luffy, needed to hear, it's magnifico. But don't get me wrong, Usopp was going crazy at Enies lobby. He was clutch as shit. But just like Robin had to fully let down her barriers so the crew could embrace her, in this moment, Usopp had to let go of his pride. Let's look at the two examples where Luffy got disrespected by his subordinates, which is crazy that it's happened more than once. Usopp and Sanji. Sanji's is actually even worse, because while Usopp was creative in his duel and gave Luffy a challenge, Sanji used every ounce of his being to beat the shit out of Luffy. Having said all that, how did they handle their respective situations? Usopp thought shit was sweet. He thought he was gonna come back and everything would be all laughs and drinks, while Sanji refused to even think returning to the crew was a possibility because he disrespected his captain. It took Luffy slapping sense into him literally for Sanji to retake his position, and also stopping Big Mom's fat ass. But you see the difference here? But if you still don't think Usopp's pride was in the way, remember the whole reason he even put the Sogeking mask on to begin with, so Luffy and the others wouldn't recognize it was him. And I give him this, it did work, kinda.
Now what do you want?
You know what time it is. And you a special case because we got books worth, but we just gonna focus on this one. And the very first thing is murdering your partner / uncle.
So what?
Then you decided to make sure you were going to hell, because the amount of green you smoked on Namek, honestly, I thought you were Snoop Dogg for a second. Maybe even Wiz Khalifa.
Get to the point.
So here's the point. You're going to hell. We know this. But we might have to actually take this a step forward and Hakai you based off of how you handled the android situation alone. It's actually kind of crazy because they have written down here stealing Yamcha's bait as a good deed. And I'm gonna have to actually dap you up real quick because, you know, Bulma is S rank. So good job on that. However, you almost immediately effed that up by allowing your baby moms and son to die. You do realize if future Trunks wasn't there, you would be without a son and we would be without Yams.
What?
Yes, I said we, nigga. Like, what do you think I do up here all day? Like, you think I watch sports and shit? Nah, nigga, I'm watching bitches shower. Okay? And I've been wondering for years now, but now I understand why Chichi be mad all the time. She ain't got no ass. Back to you, buddy. You were talking real spicy to them androids and follow that up with this. Like, do you like taking L's? And now we get to the reason why you are here and I had to count 15 billion dinosaurs. What in your mind told you letting Cell become perfect was a good idea? And honestly, you should go to hell for this alone. Have you seen the inside of Cell's tail?
Yo, what the fuck?
You really let Android 18 get swallowed up like that? Letting 18 get reverse slurp might have actually been the most evil thing you've done. And it's crazy, the dumb assery between you and the bald one actually spread and infected the rest of the crew. Because ain't no way Goku throws a sensu bean at Cell, knowing Cell has same genes and he's about to get stronger right before he fights his son. And ain't no way Gohan was torturing Cell like that. And he was in his right mind, bro. Like, I blame you for that. You did that, bro. Yeah, you getting Hakai. Beerus?
Okay.
Yeah, make sure there ain't no remains of them. Need all of them gone. Alright, great job everyone for today. We'll pick back up tomorrow. You stay back. Come here real quick. I got bubbly and batteries on ice. I need you to go bring that back. I'm gonna set up the roses and then send 18 back in. Please and thank you. Thank you.